Niccolo Machiavelli, the infamous Florentine political thinker, did not invent deception, he simply dared to write about it. In his seminal work, The Prince, he unveils a truth that most find too bitter to swallow. Power is not won by honesty, nor held by virtue. It is seized and protected through manipulation, calculation, and fear. He wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than loved if one must choose." This isn't a statement, it's a warning. We live in a world obsessed with connection, social networks, corporate alliances, and political coalitions. But beneath the surface lies an ancient truth. The bonds of friendship melt in the heat of ambition. People don't love you, they love what you provide. Let's be brutally honest. When you rise, people gather around you not out of loyalty, but out of interest. And when you fall, those same people will vanish like mist in sunlight. Ask any CEO forced to resign. Ask any politician who lost their power. Where are their friends now? What Machiavelli understood, and what most still deny us, that the human heart is fickle, and its affections are transactional. Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous, he wrote. That was not cynicism, it was observation. We are told to be kind, to be trusting, to believe in the good of others. But what is kindness without discernment? What is trust if not a calculated risk? The one who survives is not the one who trusts blindly, but the one who sees through masks. Have you ever wondered why the most powerful men in history were also the most feared? Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte. They weren't loved by all, but they were respected. They commanded loyalty not through friendship, but through dominance. Even today, in the polished world of politics and business, these rules haven't changed. Only the language has. Betrayals are cloaked in professionalism. Manipulations are disguised as strategic partnerships. Power is dirty because it demands you play a game that no saint can win. Machiavelli was not heartless, was realistic. He saw the world not as it should be, but as it is. In a time when people were burnt alive for heresy, he dared to say what others whispered. If you want to survive among wolves, you must not be a sheep. Even in ancient philosophy, the seeds of this idea were present. Thucydides, in the history of the Peloponnesian War, echoed a similar sentiment. The strong do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must. This is the brutal hierarchy of reality. And so the lesson begins. If you are to navigate the dirty game of power, you must first shed the illusion that anyone is truly on your side. Allies are fleeting, friends are opportunistic. Only principles and purpose endure. There is a cost to seeing clearly. Once you understand that people are not what they seem, that smiles hide schemes and friendships veil ambitions, a part of you will ache. The child within you, the one that believed in loyalty, in unconditional bonds, will die a quiet death. But in its place, something else is born, awareness. This is not paranoia. This is not bitterness. This is awakening. To move in power, you must walk with eyes unclouded by sentiment. You must see people for what they are. Self-interested creatures navigating a brutal hierarchy, each trying to survive and ascend. Have you ever noticed how quickly people change when you're no longer useful to them? How fast warmth turns cold the moment you lose leverage? That's not a glitch in human nature. It's the default setting. Never put your trust in friends, wrote Robert Greene in the 48 Laws of Power. Learn how to use enemies. He wasn't being cruel, he was being strategic. Friends often expect favors, loyalty, and understanding. Enemies expect nothing. They are predictable. And in the game of power, predictability is a weapon. Modern cultural parallels. Look at our current culture, social media influencers, brand partnerships, corporate boardrooms. Everything is a transaction. Likes for attention, collaborations for reach, relationships for status. It's all a facade, a carefully managed illusion of connection, hiding a relentless pursuit of personal gain. We worship authenticity, but what we really reward is performance. And those who dare to speak this truth, they're labeled cynical, toxic, Machiavellian, as if seeing the truth is a moral failure. But ask yourself, who's more dangerous? The one who manipulates openly, or the one who pretends to be your friend while waiting for your moment of weakness? What do you do when you realize your friendships are fragile, that loyalty fades under pressure, that the people you trust most could one day turn on you? You face it. You don't run. You don't retreat into naive idealism. You stare it down and adapt. You become disillusioned not in the sense of despair, but in the purest form of the word. You lose your illusions, and in doing so, you gain clarity. Clarity is painful, but clarity is power. This understanding is lonely. It has to be, because it separates you from the masses. Most people want comfort over truth. They want to believe the world is fair, that relationships are sacred, that betrayal is rare. But if you seek power, influence, sovereignty, you must let go of those comforts. You must walk the solitary path of those who see reality unfiltered. Machiavelli understood that rulers cannot afford the luxury of idealism. A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise. He wrote no because he loved dishonesty, but because he recognized its necessity in the preservation of power. And what about you? You may not rule a kingdom, but you rule your own life. Are you governing it with illusions? Or are you willing to see people not as you wish them to be, but as they are? This is where your strength is forged, not in trust, but in detachment. Not in dependency, but in self-reliance. You must cultivate a form of internal solitude that no betrayal can shatter. Let them play their games. Let them form alliances and whisper promises. You will not be fooled. You will watch, learn, anticipate, and when the moment comes, you will move with precision, not out of vengeance, but out of necessity. Because in the dirty game of power, those who win are not the ones with the most friends, but the ones who know they never had any to begin with. So what now? You've opened your eyes. You see the game for what it is. Does that mean retreat? Isolation? Paranoia? No, it means sovereignty. Because once you understand the true nature of power, you stop begging for it. You stop chasing validation. You stop leaning on people who are only loyal when the sun shines. You build within. Real power is not the throne. It's not the crown. It's not the applause. It's the calm in your mind when the world turns on you. It's the silence you've mastered while others shout. It's the ability to stand alone and remain unmoved. He who controls others may be powerful, said Lao Tzu, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still. Master yourself, control your emotions, guard your intentions, move like a shadow through a world of illusions. Yes, form alliances. Yes, make connections, but do not confuse them with loyalty. Use them but never need them. Respect them but never depend on them. Because the truth Machiavelli understood, and what most refuse to accept, is that your greatest advantage is not how many people like you, but how few can manipulate you. What does it mean to live in a world where friendship is strategy and loyalty is leverage? It means you must become your own center of gravity. You must accept that loneliness is not weakness, it is a forge. And within it, you temper your will, sharpen your vision, and build a self no betrayal can dismantle. This is not the world we wish existed. This is the world that does exist. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." The process is a mutual one. But even here, the assumption is not emotional dependence, it's mutual utility. A bond of value, not of fantasy. So let go of the fantasy. Let go of the idea that someone will save you, that someone will stay loyal no matter the cost, that someone will stand by your side forever. Instead, become the person who needs no saving. Because in the dirty game of power, no one is your friend. They may smile, they may flatter, they may stand beside you until they don't. And when that moment comes, it won't be a betrayal. It will be the unveiling of what was always true. Machiavelli didn't write to make us paranoid. He wrote to make us aware. He didn't celebrate manipulation. He revealed it so that we might survive it. So now the choice is yours. Will you continue believing the fairy tales of loyalty and unconditional support? Or will you embrace the cold, clear vision of reality and walk forward with eyes wide open? Because once you see the world for what it is, you cannot unsee it. And once you understand that no one is your friend, you finally become one thing no one can control: free. If this truth shook something inside you, you're not alone, but you are rare. Stick around for the next episode, where we'll explore how strength is built in isolation and why solitude is the furnace of kings. Until then, remember, what you call betrayal, Machiavelli would call strategy. What you call friendship might just be someone else's leverage. So tell me, who in your life is real and who's just waiting for you to fall?